guys, Susan Goss here with Tangible Truth Podcast. We have chosen for the best of for the month of December some of your favorite podcasts from many of our seasons. Some from season 1, some from season 3, and I can't wait for you to hear them. They're great. God has used this podcast in so many practical ways, and we just hope that you enjoy and learn and apply in tangible ways throughout this season. Love you and Merry, Merry Christmas. See you in January.
Really, I feel like goes straight to the heart because it's got Jesus involved, right? When we ask and we seek what he desires, then it changes everything. It changes the entire impact.
I'm Susan Goss, and as a seasoned therapist of more than 15 years, I'm honored to have had the opportunity to gain so much wisdom from so many people and love passing that knowledge on to others. So join me and some of my favorite friends as we share some tangible truths with you. Hey guys, welcome to the Tangible Truth Podcast. Wow, we're going to do something really special today, aren't we, Megan?
I'm so excited, Susan.
I am too. We are going to do something because it's December.
It is. Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you too. Merry Christmas, listeners.
Yes.
Yes. We love Christmas. And we're going to do something for the next 2 episodes. Actually, we're going to talk about what I have termed the 3 C's. So the 3 C's are Christmas blessing, Christmas circle, and Christmas miracle. So those are the 3 things we're going to be talking about. I'm so excited about it. And so what should we talk about first?
I think you need to start with Christmas blessings.
Okay.
I think that is special.
You want to talk about that? Okay. Well, let me tell you how Christmas blessing was birthed. Okay. I wish it was my idea, but it did not originate with me. It actually originated with my cousin. Years ago, she told me about what her family did. I adopted it, and our family has been doing it for years now. And what the Christmas blessing is, listeners, is this. It is a very special thing. Every single year at Christmas, we all pray, God, who would you have us bless this Christmas season? It can be a person, it can be a family, it can even be an organization or just whatever God would have you do. That's what you end up doing. Here's the thing about the Christmas blessing, though, for a family. You don't tell anybody. It's just between you and God. Nobody else knows in the family. And that's what makes it so special, because then at Christmas, it is revealed. You reveal it one at a time, and everybody is just so excited to hear what the Christmas blessing is.
Yeah.
And then we are all blessed by hearing how you blessed someone else or whatever God revealed that you were, to bless. And so it is so special. I cannot even tell you. Sometimes there's tears. Sometimes everybody's just got this huge grin on their face like, God is so good how he told you to do this. Sometimes we've paired up and really gotten a very large gift. Sometimes there's been people working at a shelter. Sometimes there's been, individual gift. It's been so creative across the board.
So, Susan, this doesn't just have to be like buying something for somebody either. Like, I loved how you mentioned sometimes it's serving an organization.
Right.
Sometimes, so you're saying it can be, you can really think outside the box on this and really kind of get creative with Jesus on how he wants you to serve at this time.
Exactly. You're just spending time with God. Like, what is my Christmas blessing to others, And what I love about it is it's also, especially with children in the family, it is teaching at an early age to look outside yourself.
Yes.
Look outside ourselves at Christmas.
I think that that's so important because I think that's such a struggle with the way that our world has kind of shaped Christmas, with it being so much about Christmas morning and the gifts, which is fun and it's sweet, and we do that. But I love this, Susan, because I think what it does is not just for yourself, but for your family. It's like a unifying thing that brings the family back to what this is really about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just love that vision of even allowing the littles to come into that,
Mm-hmm.
where it starts to even for them take the focus off what they're getting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, hey, make your list. What are you getting for Christmas? It's about somebody else and turning the focus even for the littles about what really we're supposed to be doing right now, which is focusing in prayer, focusing on Jesus, celebrating his life, and doing this as a family. I just think it's such a cool idea. I'm stealing it. I'm taking it. Thank you, cousin.
That's right. I want you to. Thank you, cousin is right. I thank her all the time for this idea. You know, I remember, Megan, one time, this was years ago, actually, that God revealed to me a very specific woman to minister to. Very specific. But here's another element of this blessing. I was able to tell her, well, and this is true for many, but I just specifically remember the impact it had on this particular woman. She was a widow, and but I went to her and I told her about the blessing. And I told her I'd been praying, and I told her that God gave me her name.
Wow.
And how impactful just that part of this story was
I have chills.
to her.
Yeah.
And what a blessing that was to her, because it was hard for her to receive. But when I told her that, she was okay. I mean, she received it well. Right. And then I was able to say, you know, this is what I am going to do because God has told me, and we went over the needs that she had. And it was such a blessing. In Scripture, it says it's more blessed to give than to receive. And man, when God tells you to bless, it is truly more blessed to give.
Yes,
than
absolutely.
to receive. It really is. You find such joy in that.
Right.
You know.
And I think that even just thinking about this idea of how do we start focusing in on the giving, what I love about what you're saying is it's intentional and it's purposeful. And whenever God is running through it, it starts to become bigger than ourselves, right? I mean, whenever I think about giving to my kids for Christmas, right, they hand me a list of the things they want, so to speak, right? And then I go get those things, right? But this is so much more intimate because it's the Lord speaking to you about something very personal about a person, about an organization that he wants you to give, right? So it's really about like what exactly that person needs in that very moment, other than just like a want, right? And so I love that the vision of it really, I feel like goes straight to the heart because it's got Jesus involved, right? When we ask and we seek what he desires, then it changes everything. It changes the entire impact like it did on that woman.
It did.
Right.
And I'm still talking about it.
Yeah. Right.
So it impacted me how it impacted her.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So it really is a total, it loops back around.
That's right.
You know,
it comes full circle. And don't you love when that happens in life?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it when that happens. So that is what we're calling, listeners, the Christmas blessing, the Christmas blessing. And Megan is going to steal that idea. And I hope all of you do as well.
Maybe I'll share it the next.
Do what?
Maybe I'll share my blessing the next podcast.
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
That would be wonderful. Maybe as you start praying, God will have already revealed who or what. Or,
that's right.
You know, that yours is.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because you're supposed to keep it a secret until Christmas.
Oh, it will have to be after Christmas.
Okay. It'll have to be after Christmas. It'll be January. Yeah. We're going to find out what Megan's was. But it's a very special tradition. And then next, what we have that we'll start talking about, that there's two more C's. One is the Christmas circle, and the other one is the Christmas miracle. So which one would you like to talk about next?
I think I want to go to Christmas miracle, only because what's coming from me right now is how the very first thing we talked about, the Christmas blessing, focuses in on the Christmas miracle.
Yes.
Right? I think they go hand in hand. And all of this does, which is why you had the great idea. But I just think it flows so well. I just think that the Christmas miracle, well, why don't you describe it really quick? Why don't you focus in on it for real quick, Susan, for the listeners?
Well, the Christmas miracle is the birth of Jesus. And the birth of Jesus, if you focus on the miracle of the birth of Jesus, born from from the Virgin Mary and Joseph and Mary, and the birth of Jesus. Wow. The miracle of the birth of Jesus. If you focus on that, changes perspective on everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
And so what we have started doing, here's another tradition that I started years ago, and not too many years ago, actually. I was trying to think back when I was talking to you about it and Carrie. I would say within the last 5 to 10 years.
Maybe since the grandbabies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We celebrate everybody else's birthday. So why aren't we celebrating Jesus' birthday? And so I started getting from my very favorite bakery, I had them make the most beautiful. It is so precious and beautiful all at the same time. A happy birthday Jesus cake.
I love it so much.
And so we have a happy birthday Jesus cake. It's delicious. It's beautiful. And we celebrate. We have a little birthday cake
Do you guys sing happy birthday?
Yes.
Okay.
We sing happy birthday to Jesus.
Yeah.
And so we do that. And that's the central focus of that miracle birth of baby Jesus. And so that changes perspective and it keeps it in the right frame of mind. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. We do two things. I'm going to add that to what we do, Susan. We did that. I was telling you, we did that 1 year, and I remember being so special. And then I don't know if it just got lost, but I'm adding that back in because I do think that it adds such a like an emphasis on what we're really celebrating. And why would we not? We do it for everybody else. Why would we not do it for Jesus? So I'm adding that back in.
Okay.
And one of the things, two of the things we really do for our family to really kind of focus in on the Christmas miracle, one of them being Advent.
Yes.
We use that yearly. Ever since I think we got married, we've been doing Advent, which has been really, really special to our family and our kids. We always try and make games to try and get the kids included in where we're reading scripture, but then there's games and fun too. But one of the I think even more than just Advent, we have read a book called Jotham's Journey. Have you ever read that book?
No.
Okay. It is about a little boy during the time of Jesus. And of course, it's not a true story, but it's a made up story about a child during the time of Jesus and what he would have gone through. And he was a shepherd's son. He ends up being part of the lineage of Jesus. And so it leads you back to Jesus along the story. And the birth of Jesus and the coming of Jesus. And the whole thing is kind of played out, but during biblical time. And it's been such a sweet treat. We've read it. I think that this is our maybe 6th year in a row to be reading Jotham's Journey.
That is awesome.
Yes. And so, listeners, that's another way that you can really focus in, especially if you have younger children. Very sweet book that I feel like just really helps us not just go through the motions during this season. I think it's easy to do, isn't it?
Oh, it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
Very, very easy to do. And it happens so quickly.
Yes.
That we get lost in the other parts of Christmas.
That's right.
And very naturally so.
Sure.
We get lost in the hustle and bustle. We get very, very busy. We're decorating the house. We're going to party after party.
And it's so fun.
It is so fun. And we want to do that.
That's right.
And it's okay to do all of that. We just don't want to lose the central reason that we're doing it.
Right.
That we're decorating the house, that we're having gatherings, that we're doing all this. We don't want to forget the reason for this season.
Yes.
And what we're celebrating at Christmas.
Yes.
The real reason. That we're celebrating at Christmas. For sure. The other part's not wrong.
Right.
But we want to remember.
And I hope our listeners hear us say that. Like, I love decorating the house and putting on the Christmas music and, baking and just all the fun, going to the parties. I just think there's something sweet about the togetherness that this season creates.
Yes.
And I don't want to miss that either. I don't want to miss a time to not be present during, maybe the things that aren't just like all wrapped up in Jesus, but allowing Jesus to use us in those moments, I think maybe is a better way to look at it.
Yes.
Of like, if our hearts are constantly set back on Jesus throughout the season, then what starts to happen when we go to these parties or we go to these times where we're around others, like what starts to kind of pour forth from us whenever our central thoughts and our time spent with Jesus is so rich, right? Which is really the hope.
Right. It overflows.
It overflows.
No matter where we are or what we're doing.
Right.
So I 100% agree with that. So that's great.
Do you have any, Susan, do you have any other great traditions around Jesus that your family uses for the Christmas miracle?
Well, for the Christmas miracle, we always, of course, gather and Steve reads the story.
Yes.
Of the birth of Jesus, and everybody gathers around and does that. One tradition that I will say that we do not do, but others I've heard that do this is they act it out.
We've done it.
Have you done that?
Yes.
Now, do you do it every year?
We have not. We've done it maybe one for sure, maybe the last 2 years. But I tell you what, I have never laughed so hard in my entire life.
Everybody always says that. So I don't know why we don't, because we've got a family full of actors, I tell you. But he reads it, and I have thought, we're going to have to act this out, because I have heard the same story that families that do it just think it's the funniest thing.
Oh, my goodness. My dad, who's known as Papa, I mean, can never get it right. Like, he's just always the one that's saying the wrong words or like speaking out of turn or, tripping on something where it's just, oh my goodness. And you have to record it. You have to record it because you don't want to miss the voices from year to year and just the funny moments, because you forget. You forget.
Yeah.
So make sure, listeners, if you pick up on some of this and you're doing it, make sure that you record if you're going to act out the Christmas story.
Well, on this episode, we only got through Christmas blessing and Christmas miracle. But the next episode, you've got to stay tuned because we're going to cover Christmas Circle. Now, Christmas Circle is extremely, I'm really kind of glad, because Christmas Circle really deserves a whole episode.
It sure does.
Because it's really about what we can and can't control during the Christmas season, and especially around relationships.
Yes.
Because sometimes that brings a whole different level of anxiety to the Christmas season. And we're going to be talking about that. So anyway, we'll look forward to y'all listening next episode, because we're excited about it too. We love y'all.
See you, listeners.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Tangible Truth Podcast, part of the KLRC Podcast Network.